Welcome to the Deep in State presented by 𝐒𝐻𝐚𝐤𝐞𝐚𝐰𝐚. I'm your host, Nick Hawks. On today's episode, we have Alireza Ghods over at Natix. This episode is sponsored by 𝐒𝐻𝐿Hawks and Associates, the most experienced DePIN consultancy in the space. We help projects develop strategy, messaging, and token incentives. We'll have a little bit more on us later in the show. Before we get started, hit the like, subscribe, smash the bell, all the things that help us keep bringing great guests like Alireza to you. Alireza, what's going on, dog? Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Nick, as always. I think last time I was here, I was sharing the news on VX360, this Tesla device, or a dongle for Tesla vehicles for us to capture 360 video data. And yeah, today I also have another good news. I wanted to share it with you and the audience. It's connected to that Tesla device. So yeah, it's our partnership. I think by the time we're recording it, it just came out a few hours ago. It's our partnership with Grab, the super app of Southeast Asia, essentially the Uber of Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I just saw that this morning, this Grabmaps thing. So walk me through what that allows you guys to do and then how it's good for them as well. What's this partnership look like?
Definitely. Many people might not know this, but Grab is an OG when it comes to crowdsource map making. So think of DePIN without crypto incentives, right? DePIN, whatever you want to call it. Where you crowdsource your network and you can collect data or resources extremely efficient, far more than centralized solutions, right? So they're very, very good at it. And it stemmed from a pain point they had. So they wanted to do this ride sharing business in Southeast Asia. They didn't have good maps. Neither any other company had good maps. So they started building it. So it came from a necessity. They had millions of drivers. They have millions of drivers actually right now as well. And they started building camera hardware, which is essential for map making, right? A stack of them. Actually, they have a product for smartphone, very similar to Natix. They have a dash cam. They have something for Tesla vehicles, and then they also have a very expensive, high fidelity 360 camera that makes your car looks like a Google car, essentially. Right? So they have the entire stack. They have built it, and they started collecting, and soon they became the best map maker, but also the best map service provider in Southeast Asia. Better than Google, better than a lot of other companies, right? And in the past, they built this amazing technology, but you know the source of building a map is of course the data, and the data in this case is you need drivers, you need street level visual data. So they want to go for global expansion. That means US, Europe, Middle East, and the rest of the world. They don't have ride sharing business. They don't want to couple this with the ride sharing business. So that's where Natix comes in. And, you know, for us, it was quite interesting because we wanted to build this Tesla device anyway. And we realized that, you know, they can help us build it. They are customers of the Tesla data from day one of the launch. By the way, we went kind of soft launch Friday. We wanted to go ahead of tariffs, US tariffs. So we went a little bit ahead. So they're customers of the data because they want to build their AI pipelines for different jurisdictions and improve it for US, for EU. They're the best in Southeast Asia, but they want to expand as well. And then the idea was like, why just end it at data collection, or why just end it at us just selling you data? Let's try to build maps and map services together based on our data and monetize it together. So yeah, that became the part of a bigger deal where, you know, we have access to the entire stack of hardware, camera hardware that they have. So basically we started with the Tesla dongle, which is VX360, and as well as the map making AI pipeline, which you feed in street level imagery and the metadata, and it generates you map and map services, essentially. So traffic sign extraction, you know, lane extraction, essentially building map from these, you know, street level imageries. So it's a win-win, right? They're going for global expansion. We are saving years of R&D, which we had to do it ourselves. And suddenly, I would say Natix is able to, together with Grab, offer enterprise-grade map services in a span of weeks rather than years.
Okay, so for them, I'm just going to make sure I understand this. For them, they're psyched that they now have global access to Natix's basically data ingest, the cameras, the Tesla, the whatever.
Correct.
And then for you guys, you get access to the hardware they have, and then also some, what is it, software tooling behind that?
Correct. The AI pipeline that converts the video data, or sorry, street level imagery, SLI, to maps, map attributes, and map services.
Okay, so some pretty nerdy stuff, but also vital in this whole thing if you're going to sell data, especially into this new kind of AI-enabled world. All right. So does this mean, I mean, we're talking about a DePIN, the physical piece. You guys have been using phones in this dongle. Does this mean that Natix will come out with some hardware or some Grabmaps hardware? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, so I mean, the first hardware that we ever launched, which is VX360 for Tesla vehicles, this is in collaboration with Grab. We're announcing it right now, but we have been working on it for the past few months, right?
Yep.
We are definitely going to also use the rest of the stack that they have. They have dash cams. They have these. They have a very special camera, which is a 360 device. It won Red Dot Award. I don't know. You can maybe later on put a video. It's called Cam 2, I believe.
Okay. How big is this thing?
Sorry?
Is this thing like the size of my head? How big is this thing?
Pretty much, a little bit smaller even. And then you can mount it on a backpack. You can mount it on a two-wheeler. You can also mount it on your car with a magnetic or with a stand, essentially. And, you know, this thing is far more scalable. Again, it's made for crowdsourced mapping compared to these, like, if you want to buy right now kind of these 360 cameras that you can mount to your vehicle for mapping, it costs around $50,000. We were chatting with a few companies because I'm in the industry. Just the camera itself costs around $50,000. If you want with LiDAR, it costs around $100,000. So, I mean, this is a fraction of the cost of that, by the way. So it's still very much scalable. It's more expensive than a dash cam because it's a very high,
more complicated technology. Okay.
Correct. It has more compute power. It has more battery and so on.
And does that mean that someone who's a driver for Uber would consider this and say, cool, I'll buy one of these things. I'm guessing at the price, I don't know, like 10 grand or 5 grand. So that's going to be a stretch for your average Uber driver. And I'll put this on and this will increase the amount of earnings I can make? Or like, how are you thinking about how this thing actually gets used? Is this going to be used in some other way?
Exactly like you said. I mean, it's a higher quality of data. And again, this goes into this discussion that it was you know, some of our rivals used to say smartphone would not work. Dashcam is the way to go.
Sure.
This is a little bit of nonsense because if you look at OGs of crowdsourced map making, you need the entire stack. Smartphone enables you to collect data very quickly in a very cheap way and detect change, what we call detect change, right? So for example, when something changes, you can at least know that something changed, and then you can send a high quality vehicle to do a very accurate mapping. And you need both of them. So there's not a world that we say, hey, with smartphone, you can finish the game. With a dash cam, absolutely not. You need 360 imagery essentially to do a lot of applications. So you need the entire stack, and that's what we're also trying to build. But essentially is what you said. If you're an Uber driver, you can choose what device to use to contribute. It can be a smartphone. It can be, if you're a Tesla driver, it can be the dongle. It can be a dash cam. It can be another device, the 360 camera that is more expensive. And of course, the reward is also proportional to the value of data, right? So the reward for our VX360 is going to be, let's say per kilometer, is definitely going to be more than the app, because it provides us 360 video data. We're not even just selling it for map making, we're also selling it to autonomous driving. It's just, you know, the value of the data, I can tell you, it's multiple.
Got it. And then can you give me some pricing ideas about these, just maybe general ballpark, or is that still TBD?
It's not TBD, but
You're teasing me. What's this thing going to cost? Come on, man.
Yeah, because we haven't productized it, to be honest with you, in the sense that we haven't yet opened the API for anyone to just reason for that also is, especially with the VX360 data, it's we're trying to also productize it ourselves, hopefully. So we're a little bit careful because we are doing, I think last time we also talked about it, there is this use case. I mean, we can do a couple of things with it. We can make from the front camera street level imagery, or from the side cameras as well, and do POI, point of interest, or do traffic sign detection. That's a map making kind of side of the story. We can use the video data. We can sell it to autonomous driving companies that they want to train their AI stack. They want to build world models. It's called basically AI generated version of the world from the view of the car camera. And then they do a lot of training and stuff based on that. Or for example, we can do this scenario generation, which is for simulation environment. They test what they have developed already. So this is what we're trying to productize ourselves. that's why it's a little bit sensitive for me to share what would be. But I can tell you, even from the numbers that I'm seeing out there, from street level imagery, from HiveMapper to even other centralized players, the worth of data, it's higher for 360 video data, together with the right metadata that can be used for autonomous driving pipeline.
Got it. Okay. I got a couple follow-on questions then. So the first one is, you're getting video data throughout an entire drive. If an Uber driver is driving whatever, 8 hours a day or 10 or whatever it is they're doing, that's a shitload of data. How is that getting offloaded onto where you guys can get it?
Yeah, so it is shitload of data. Look, we have been the first people in the space who said edge computing, believe me. And that's why we went smartphone route. We are edge computing from 2018. We were building edge computing AI stack. But with that said, we want the video data. It's valuable. It's gold mine, right? And I'm gonna tell you in a second why. So the idea is, when you just have to connect this box one time to the Wi-Fi of your home or your office, and as soon as you park your car, the device automatically connects to the Wi-Fi, the same way that when you enter home, your phone connects to Wi-Fi automatically, and it uploads the data in the background, usually during nighttime when you're not using, the bandwidth for yourself.
Okay, and will it do kind of smart checking stuff? I mean, I live in a pretty suburban home, small house, little AP, I don't know, 50 feet from the car. And its car's right next to the garage. I don't always get the greatest coverage in the garage for the car charger. And that's just for the car charger saying like, hey, should I turn on or not? What is this going to look like if this thing is trying to stream over the whole evening or the whole night? Is that going to be a problem? Are there kind of fallbacks? Is there some automated piece that says like, hey, we've got enough bandwidth to do this now, let's get as much as, like, what does that look like?
We're definitely checking. We're checking the bandwidths. We usually do time-based as well. We probably also will put this feature that you can also select which times you prefer. Let's say if you're a night owl and you're up, then maybe you don't want that, but during the day. But we do check the bandwidths. We don't want to take we want to take your available bandwidth, not your entire bandwidth, right?
Yep.
So that's also very, very important. The other thing is, in case you don't have Wi-Fi connectivity where you park your car, this device was designed to store a lot of data, up to 22 hours of data. It has a very large storage capacity, so you can take it out when you leave your car, go home, just plug it into any USB socket or electricity socket. It, again, automatically connects to your home Wi-Fi. Next day, very similar to an Oura Ring or an Apple Watch, when you leave home, you also get a notification, because on the background, the Bluetooth is also connected to your phone.
Okay, cool. So you just unplug it from the car and the power in the car, you bring it in the house, you plug it in, it does its thing. Now it's got a decent Wi-Fi connection. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
And then a lot of folks in DePIN watch this, including I'm sure our good friend, because Ariel is friends with everyone. Ariel's going to watch this. What's he going to think when he sees this and says like, okay, I spent a ton of time on hardware. These guys are going to have a problem here, or this is a really cool idea. Here's what they can unlock. What do you think the kind of competitors' view of this is?
I don't know. I think it's, one thing is to be reasonable. One thing is to throw grenades. I made a tweet, actually. You can go check it as well.
Yeah. There's all these little beefs on Twitter and the rest of it. I'm just
product, and then claim that, oh, people are asking me. So, if I want to also, write criticisms about another working products model, it's going to be easy. Believe me, Nick. It's just gave that up. I think for me to focus on my own business and make, show the product market fit. The easiest way to show the product market fit is revenue, and a ton of revenue, and what I call quote unquote scalable revenue. It doesn't matter what I say or what Ariel says at the end of the day, right? If I have customers for the data,
at the end of the day, if you got a business, you got a business.
Ariel has customers for the data, that's good enough. This is a long-term play. I definitely think there's a space for everyone. I think he also realized, he's a, he used to also bash on this edge compute kind of thing that I was saying. Again, I think Twitter is amazing because you see the when we said it and what we said. But look, their new product, they had to, go on edge, and they claim that this is first time anybody does that or whatever, but this is actually not true.
You can look back in time. Okay. Yeah. Cool. I mean, I don't want to force you guys into some beef that doesn't exist. And then
but I think in general, that's my stance. Yeah. It doesn't matter what I say, what he says, what he says, she says. This is out of the scope that I want to focus on. I think what matters is a scalable revenue enterprise customers and whatever takes us there. And you know, I think we should just focus on that and have the positive sum game rather than, you know, these kind of, I think sometimes people get,
it's easy to get sidetracked. I think it's probably as good a place as any to wrap it up, is to say, look, at the end of the day, what this is about business and about delivering value and delivering a kind of a data stream of value. And that's what matters. So Alireza, thanks a ton for coming on. Thanks for making the time. I know you're super busy as a founder. Appreciate you coming in and catching us up.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for having me.